All right, guys, back with a Sunday polling update. So we got a couple polls to go through here, but we're going to start off with the Sunday aggregate poll that is released every Sunday by 338 Canada. And look at this. It looks like the Liberal manipulation polls weren't that effective. They're up to 26% on the average, but that's because of Ecos and Palace and all these other weird pollsters that seem to have a Liberal surge for no reason. But when we look at reality, when we can actually read the room, Conservatives are at 42%. And it's really interesting to me. I was just thinking about this, like what's happened in the past week or two to cause this Liberal surge, because government's pro-rogue. Nothing's happening. Which means that Liberal supporters value the government or support the government more when they're not working. What does that tell you about what happens when they are working? The support goes down. That should really send a message to Liberals saying, hey, if the only way you like your government is when the government's prorogued and shut down, that means you don't really like your government. But anyway, the NDPs are down to 16%. Looks good on them. Blocs at 8%, Greens at 4%, nothing out of the normal there. And then we have right now the average seat would be 205 for the Conservatives, which, again, it's not as much as we want to see, but it's still a majority, which is definitely a good sign, with the Liberals at 84, Bloc at 40, and that certainly would give the Liberals enough to get the official opposition, and they are now back at 99%. I still expect the Bloc to make a little bit of a comeback. I don't know if they'll get official opposition, but I also don't think the Liberals are going to get 84 seats either. 116 apparently is their high end. Yeah, no. Sorry, Toronto's not going to go all red. It's going to be some red, but there's going to be some blue too. Let me go over to here, a little bit of a different poll from Innovative, which seems to also kind of be on the same track at 40 to 27 for the Conservatives. The NDP at 16, Bloc at 7, Green at 6. That's interesting. I've never seen the Greens quite that high. The PPC at 3. Again, really close call in Atlantic Canada. I know Atlantic Canada kind of has a lot of Liberals, but 37 to 35, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if the Liberals are that close in Quebec. 9-point lead in Ontario, which is not big enough in my opinion, but good enough to win most of the seats. And look at this. In Manitoba and Saskatchewan, you have the Liberals taking over the NDP, which means that in the prairie provinces, Jagmeet Singh isn't very popular. And I can actually understand that, because he sucks. Alberta, same thing. Conservatives are way ahead. And BC, almost 20 points at 17 points ahead. So this is more based off of reality, right? Again, you'll see the Liberals go back down to the early 20s at least, and the Conservatives will go back up. But there will be, when Mark Carney is installed, I can see them kind of staying around this number. But then the longer he kind of exposes himself, which he will, you'll see the numbers go back up for the Conservatives. Mark Carney could call an election, a snap election, as soon as he's elected to prevent himself from being exposed before the next election. But that being said, I think he wants to prove that he's a good prime minister, and the only way he can really do that is by faking it, right? He can drop taxes and start building homes and throwing criminals in jails and taking care of our border. Even if he were to do that, which I don't think he would, it would only be temporary, and that's the scary part, because if he did start to enact some of, say, Pierre Poilievre's policies, a lot of people would get fooled by that, in my opinion. But that's by far their best chance to win. They would have to completely switch gears, win the next election, then if they did, we would be finished. At that point, I'm in favor of being a part of the 51st state, because if the Liberals win the next election, we ain't gonna have a country for much longer anyway. So why not just join a powerful country, right? And I don't want to say that, but let's be honest. Would you rather be off paying way less in taxes, not having to wait a year to see a doctor like I had to? And by the way, I still pay for my medication even with all the high taxes. So what am I getting out of it, right? And I'm just one person, but there's probably a lot of people who feel the same way. Everything's cheaper down there, including a house. Pierre Poilievre had a video he put out probably, I covered it maybe 6 months ago. And he was in Niagara Falls, Canada, and Niagara Falls, United States. Okay, those cities, I've been to both of them. I only live about an hour away, and you could take one decent house in Canada, in Niagara Falls, and it's $500,000. That same house across the bridge, 20 minutes away, is $250,000, $300,000. And it's basically the same house. Yeah, I'll take that. I'd rather Trump than Trudeau. You know what I mean? I want to save this country. I want this country to be sovereign, but I also want it to be a country where you can thrive in it. And right now, there's too many people who you can't sustain being in the middle class with the way things are going. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please don't be shy. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help grow my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.